streaming, managing your media on the dashboard, how to edit your content with Riverside, repurposing, and more. So I'm Stephen Robles. I'm video producer at Riverside. You'll find me on the YouTube channel. Kendall usually joins me. She couldn't be here today, but she'll be back. And we have future webinars on all different topics. And I'll talk about where you can find more information on that and watch the recording of this webinar and previous. Now I'll be looking at the chat. We're both live on YouTube and for those of you joining us on the Riverside platform. So drop your questions in the public chat as I go, and I'll be answering them about different topics, whether it's recording, projects. And we have some exciting new features to talk about today, like our global search feature, which helps you find any recording or clip very easily in your dashboard, the redesigned project page, and of course, all the awesome recording, live streaming, and editing tools. So Nikki's already saying, yay, live demo. That's right. And I'm going to show that on screen so we can actually say it. Hey, so yeah, drop your comments in that chat as I go, and I'm going to be managing both, doing the demo and answering the questions. So I'll do my best to do it as we go. This is the deep dive you're looking for, Jason. He's looking for an online or in-person training, and so let's talk about it. Let's already get into the demo, and hopefully I can answer all your questions here. So I'm going to share my screen, and we'll jump into the Riverside Studio first for recording. So here I am. This is when you first log into your Riverside account. I'm here in my studio, and I'm going to go over the projects and organizing your media first, but let's get right into recording your content, video or audio, and live streaming it as well, like I'm doing right now. So I'll jump into record just by pressing the big record button here on the home page. And next, you're actually going to see the Riverside lobby. This is where you choose your microphone, speaker, and camera when you're getting ready to record. So I'll choose my camera here, which is actually a video switcher, but it could be the built-in camera. You can even use your iPhone as a camera if you have a Mac. Then you would choose your microphone input and speaker output. If you were using something like a USB microphone, you can actually plug in headphones to that USB mic and use it as both the input and output, kind of like I'm doing here. You would choose whether or not you're using headphones. We always recommend using headphones because you're going to get better audio quality, because Riverside is not going to have to try and mute your microphone when your remote guest is speaking, and it might be coming through your computer speakers. So I typically use headphones when I record my podcast with Riverside. So I'll say I'm using headphones, and then we'll click Join Studio, and we jump in. Now I know you're kind of seeing two of me at a moment. Let me actually can I turn off my camera? Yeah, I'll turn off my one camera so you only see one of me here in the studio. Now here in the studio, you can start recording right away. Just hit the record button at the bottom and you'd be off and running, recording high quality video and audio. But I'm going to walk you around some of the features here. Now you might want to record with a remote guest. That could be the co-host for your podcast. It could be an interview guest, and you can invite them into the studio just by copying this guest link, and they just have to open that link either in Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge, and then they'll be in and recording with you. And the real magic of Riverside is as you invite those remote guests in, when you hit record, the video and audio is being recorded locally for each person on their device. So no internet blips, stutters, or freezes is going to affect your recording. You're going to get that high quality recording every time for you and all your remote guests. Matthew already has a question. Is it possible to turn up the volume in the recording for the host, guest, or guest mic? And yes, you can. And I'll go over that in the editor and here in the studio. So, for instance, if you're here in the studio, and let's say you have multiple remote guests, you'll see them appear here in the People tab. Now, you can expand this, and you'll be able to see what devices your remote guest is using. So maybe they plugged in a USB mic, but they didn't choose it in the lobby. Well, you can actually let them know, hey, it looks like you're using your built-in mic. Just switch that input before we record. Now, there is a volume slider right here that will adjust the volume of each person's microphone here in the studio. This will be important if you're live streaming and you want to make sure everyone's the same volume, but this actually does not affect the recorded volume. The recorded volume is separate, and you can adjust that in the Riverside editor per person. And I'll show you that when we get to the editor. So that's under the People tab. You also have your studio chat. This is where you can communicate with both other guests or hosts in the studio, but you'll also have a live chat for when you stream live, and you can actually see comments from YouTube channels, from Twitch accounts, and you'll see all those comments in one place, and then you can show them on screen like I was doing before. For instance, just as an example, I'll show this comment saying, "Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon." And so you'll be able to show these comments, even see what platform they're coming from. As you can see the little Riverside logo, that means this person was watching on the Riverside platform. Now, underneath that, you'll have the brand, and you'll see I actually have a custom background image for my studio, and that will go into the live stream. You can even choose custom font and color sizes depending on your plan. And we also have text overlays, and this is great because you can show lower thirds like this one here, and that will show up on the live stream, and it will also show up, if it goes to YouTube or Twitch. But for those watching on the Riverside platform, I can actually show clickable lower thirds. So I'm actually going to show one of those right now. I'm going to actually go full screen with my video here, and then for this actual live stream, I'm going to show a lower third. And if you're watching on Riverside, you can click that lower third right now and go to our YouTube channel and subscribe there. Or you might be watching on YouTube right now. But that's the power of the text tool, being able to show those live lower thirds and even clickable links. Here in the studio, you also have media uploads. So if you wanted to play a video clip during the recording, you can do that. I'll actually play one right here. This is a little video clip. I can preview it and then show it live. And that video is actually going to go to my live stream, and it's going to be recorded. I'm actually going to get a separate track for any media shares, whether it's a video or audio file, and I'll be able to download and edit those later. And then you also have the layout down here. So if you have multiple people and you're doing a live stream, you could focus on the active speaker. Riverside will switch automatically based on who's talking. You can do speaker split screen, which will make people small picture in picture and the active speaker large, and so on. So those are the tools there in the studio, and I'm going to talk about live streaming in a moment. Just going to double check some of the comments. So Scott was asking, I have the pod mic and camera into my Rode Duo. When choosing camera and mic, it doesn't show the devices, so I should choose Duo for both. So it depends. If you have your camera going into the Rodecaster Duo, I'm not sure exactly how you have that set up. I would typically connect my camera directly to my computer. You can do that via a USB cable and put your camera in webcam mode, or you might have an HDMI like capture card or video switcher. So I would choose my camera separately, and then I would choose the Rodecaster Duo as both the mic input and speaker output. Looking at some of these other questions, and so if you're using Safari right now, and if you're watching on YouTube, you won't be able to click the links. Andres was asking about that. You can tune in via Chrome or Edge, and you should have all those features. And Tommy was asking, what is the quality of the locally recorded files? Well, you can actually set your studio up to 4K quality, but you do have to have a 4K compatible video capture device or camera. For instance, the Sony a7C II mirrorless camera can actually do 4K video in webcam mode, or you might use a 4K capture card like from Elgato. So you can record all the way up to 4K resolution, and then the audio, you'll get an uncompressed WAV audio file of your recording. And again, that's local recording, upload it to your dashboard to download later, and I'll show you how you can access those files in a moment. Michael was asking, do you offer solutions within Riverside for webinars? Technically, we're doing a webinar right now. And so absolutely, there's lots of features for that. Live streaming, capturing audience info. I'll try and get a video link to our webinar walkthrough. But if you go to our YouTube channel and search for webinars, I have an entire video showing how to use Riverside for webinars. Now, let me also show you some live streaming features. So here in the studio, I can go to live stream, and here I can connect multiple social media destinations, including YouTube, Twitch, and then I can add more, Facebook page or profile, LinkedIn, X, TikTok, or any custom RTMP destination. And you can even schedule live streams in Riverside, and those live events will sync to your YouTube channel and other social media accounts. I have an entire video on that as well on our YouTube channel. And you can also choose to go live on Riverside, and that's what many of you are tuning in right now. You're watching in the Riverside platform, and then you can do things like audience live call-ins via video and audio. And you can live stream in 720p, or if you have a standard or pro plan with the Live Studio add-on, then you can stream it up to 1080p high definition and remove the Riverside watermark with that. But on our just free plan, you can live stream for free and even multicast to those destinations for free, just again, completely for free. And then if you want to do the 1080p, that's our Live Studio add-on. Also, last couple of things here in the studio, and then we'll go to the dashboard and some editing. You can share your screen here in Riverside. That's actually what I'm doing right now, so you can see my other web browser. But you can also share an entire display. So like I have a secondary Mac display. I can share my screen. It's great for tutorial, webinar, or if you have some slides open in a Google Slides document, like in a web browser, then you can show those slides via the share screen feature. We also have a script feature. So you can have an entire script here or just bullet points, refer to it while you're recording, and even go into teleprompter mode. So if you want to read a script down while you're recording, you can actually have that scroll right here as a teleprompter in the Riverside Studio. Really powerful there. And again, you have your speaker, camera, and microphone. You can change your input and output up until you start recording. Once you start recording, then you can mute or turn off your camera, but you can't change your input and output once you start recording. Now, I'm going to start recording just for a minute here. Let me make sure I'm not live streaming, because once you're in the recording mode, you'll see some different things here in the user interface, like your upload status and things like that. So once you start recording, you'll see now you have the record up here with the timer. That's how long you've been recording. You'll see the record button is now turned to a stop button. That's where you'll stop recording. And under the People tab, you'll also see the percentage uploaded for everyone's video and audio files. So you see the overall upload, the individual uploads, and then once you stop recording, you'll get a little notice saying we're going to finish these uploads. Those are those high quality video and audio files. And once it reaches 100% for you and everyone else, then you can jump into your project and start editing. So that's the studio. Let me double check any questions on that here. Can you control the bit rates? You can control the bit rates right now, Tommy, on recorded files. Right now, you only have control over the resolution, 1080p, 4K, or 720, and the forget the term, but you have 44.1 kilohertz or 48 hertz. I don't think hertz is the proper terminology, but you have the two audio bit rates you can choose from in your studio settings. Do we have to download the files, or are there any possibilities of losing files in the future? We save your files on Riverside, even your old ones, so no risk of losing them. So you don't have to download. And that's one of the great benefits of Riverside is you can edit it in Riverside, and then you don't have to deal with all those big video and audio files taking up space on your computer. And we're going to jump into the editor in just a second. What's the best way to use Riverside when using a Zoom P8? Eric, I actually have a video on the YouTube channel again, specifically about the Zoom P4. The P8 is going to be a similar process, and I'll try and find some of these videos. But if you just go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/RiversideFM, all those videos and tutorials for a lot of these questions are there. I have some questions on exporting and things like that. So we're actually going to go over to the project page. I'm going to leave this studio, and I'll turn my camera back on so you can see me here off to the side. I'm going to change my layout here. There we go. There were a couple of other questions real quick. Doug was asking, will Instagram be supported for live streaming? Technically, it's supported right now. It's via RTMP. And so you can actually set up an RTMP destination through your Instagram account, add that to your Riverside, and live stream to Instagram. Keep in mind, Instagram is going to crop your video to that center vertical aspect ratio. So when you live stream, just keep in mind, it's really just the middle of your video being live streamed to Instagram, but you can do it right now. Guess what? Another video on our YouTube channel, I covered Instagram streaming specifically. See any other questions? Rui is asking, any word limit on the teleprompter? Not that I know of, but I can try and find that out for you later. How do you show the slides in yourself at the same time? And you can use the teleprompter. So showing the slides in yourself at the same time, I'm sharing my screen right now, which is why you're seeing the UI, and I'm using that in a separate web browser window. And then you can show yourself as well. I'm using the layout tool, which I showed you a moment ago. Again, I have a video on live stream layouts and live streaming tips. I'll try once we get to the end and we do a longer Q&A, I'll get some of those links for you. How does the quality compare from local recording versus cloud recording? That was a question from Emmett. That's a great question. And so right here, I'm on my project page, and you'll see this was actually that 22-second recording that we just did in the studio. And here on the projects page, you'll see now this is a redesign. If you had the previous design, this is our new tabbed UI and navigation. Really love this new UI. It helps you get around much faster. But here under the recordings section, you'll see I have a separate track for myself, and I can download the high quality raw video file for me and any other remote guests and the raw audio. Those are the highest quality video files you're going to get because those were locally recorded and then uploaded to Riverside. You'll also see the cloud version of the recording, and that's like the quality you would get with Zoom, where it was recorded what was being sent over the internet. So the high quality files are the ones you want, and that's what we use when you go into the editor and export from there. Do you recommend a high quality webcam for high quality plug and play for podcast? Honestly, Michael, I would recommend using a mobile device as a camera before a webcam. I have a lot of high-end webcams. I have the Opal C1, which is, a $300-400 webcam that's 4K, and they can look good, but honestly, the mobile device is really some of the best quality video you're going to get. It's better in low light, better white balance, and less finicky. And so I would actually say try have them use their mobile device as a webcam. If they have an iPhone, they can use that in continuity camera mode with a Mac, or there's a great app called Camo, C-A-M-O, that you can use any phone as a webcam. Someone was asking, what is RTMP? That's a protocol for live streaming and what you would use for Instagram right now. And let's see, does Riverside do branded overlays for the videos? You can do branded overlays, yes. That was part of the overlays there. And I see some other questions, but let me jump into more of the editing and project page, and then we'll do more Q&A in a moment. So here back on my Riverside dashboard, I'm actually going to go to my project section. Previously, I was on the Home tab. The Home tab shows you recent recordings, recent edits you've been working on, and recent exports, so quick access to just jump into what you were doing most recently. But if I go down to the projects page, now these are all my past recordings, but these are organized in projects. You can think of them as folders. You can actually have multiple recordings in a single project if you'd like. But I'm going to jump to my most recent podcast recording with my remote guest. And this is what you would see if you had a recording with multiple tracks, and you would see these recordings here. So here was my remote guest. His name was Jason, and I have his individual video and audio files. Here was my video and audio files. And I did a bunch of screen shares when I was recording my podcast, and you'll see every screen share actually gets its own recording, and you can download that separately as well. And when you share your screen in the Riverside studio when recording, that's actually high quality local recording as well. So if you do tutorial or screen grab type videos and you want to upload those to YouTube, Riverside is a great way to just do that solo content, sharing your screen, and we have some really cool layouts coming soon to put that together, and it looks real professional. So that's the recording files. You'll also see a made for you page. This is a great page of your projects where we have a magic episode, which does things like strip silences, remove filler words, and applies other AI features to give you a head start in your editing. And you can jump into edit from that magic episode. Also, depending on your plan, you get AI-generated show notes, which is awesome. You get a summary of the recording, bullet point takeaways, even chapter timestamps, and I use those when I upload my video podcast to YouTube. Then underneath that, you also have some snapshots and images you can use for social media. Next to Made for You, you have your edits. This might be full-length edits. It might be vertical videos you've been formatting to share on social media. So you can find all your edits and drafts there. And any videos that you've exported will live under the Exports tab. So very clear delineation now between exports, edits, and recordings. But when you're ready to actually start editing, or maybe you want to edit from scratch, we have a Create button here. And this, you can create magic clips, which are those vertical videos. I'll show you that in a second. You can start with a magic episode, even use AI translation. And then you can edit from scratch, record something else that belongs in this project, or even upload video and audio content that you recorded elsewhere, maybe with your phone, and you want to use it as like an overlay in the editor. Well, you can upload those files here as well. But I'm going to jump into the editor, and let's look at the AI tools that will really give us a head start in editing our content and how to do just all the editing here in Riverside. Now, this is the Riverside editor, and you get a transcript here on the left where you can edit your content via text. Basically select text, click the trash can and delete it, and you've edited your video and audio content. Now, here in the top right corner, this is where I start when I edit my video podcast, and I would recommend you start here as well, because this is going to give you a huge head start in your editing. These are all AI tools, and the first one, remove pauses. I use this for every one of my recordings, but it doesn't just remove silences. You can choose to set the pace. So do you want this to be a very fast-paced edit? This would be great for a vertical video like you're going to share to Instagram. Or you can crank that down a little bit, slow the pace down. Maybe this is the full episode recording, and you can set that pace here. We even tell you how many pauses we're going to cut and how much time is saved, which is pretty cool. You can remove filler words with a single click. Just apply that. You can also find fluff. So if there was any superfluous talk or maybe some small talk, you can actually delete those sections by clicking apply, and find fluff will help you focus on the main content, to keep the main thing the main thing. There's also some other great AI tools in here like Magic Audio, which basically makes any microphone sound studio quality, removes background noise, can make the built-in mic on your iPhone sound really good, and you can apply it just per track or to everyone. And there's even a slider to adjust how much Magic Audio to apply. So if it sounds too processed, you can lower that, or if there's still too much background noise, you can raise that Magic Audio. Next is Smart Mute. I apply this to all my recordings as well. This will mute someone's track when they're not talking. This helps just clean up the audio and keep things sounding professional. And a really cool feature is Smart Layouts. This is going to focus on the active speaker throughout the clip. So if you ever wanted to have a multicam look where it's switching between who's talking, Riverside can do that with a single click. So I'm going to apply that, and we're going to see how all this looks in a moment. And we also just added AI eye contact, where even if you weren't looking at the camera lens, it can correct that so you're looking right at the camera the whole time. So I just applied all those AI tools, and we've gotten really far now in our edit. Now I want to show you just a little preview of what this looks like, because that smart scenes, the smart layouts, that actually is going to switch now between me, my co-host, the two of us on screen, and it did this automatically. So in those in-between moments where maybe we're talking or we're joking around, kind of back and forth, it's going to have two of us. Then when one of us takes the main microphone and we're, focusing, there's one person talking, Riverside is going to focus on that one person. And then during those transitional moments in between the conversation, Riverside is going to switch back to having both people on camera. And so that was all done with a single click, just using our smart layouts, and I get that multicam look. Now also here in the editor, I can go over to the brand tool, and I can save a background image that I like for my design, text styles, animated captions, and I can even choose, well, I want animated captions when I do a vertical format, but I don't want it for my 16:9 that I'm going to upload to YouTube. You can choose what you want and then apply this brand for the future. And your brand is saved here for all future edits. I'm going to apply it right here, and you'll see those little background image added, little space between the videos, and rounded the corners. So that's a quick way to apply your brand, and you can even have your brand colors in there, choose the text you want, fonts, all that. Now, if you had one guest that might have been a little too far from the camera and you want to zoom and crop in, we have a tool for that. You can actually click on a video, use the crop tool, and zoom in a little bit and reframe their video, and now they're centered. Good to go. If you want to make, I know there was a question before about volume levels per track. Well, we actually have, if you go into the tracks tool, we have tools just for that and some special tools as well. So here's Jason. This is his track. If I go into his track, you'll see all these tools available. I can adjust his volume now, and this is going to affect the final video export. I can apply that Magic Audio I talked about before. You can even apply an EQ. This is a more recent feature. So if you understand equalization, you know what you want, you can choose from some preset EQs here, or you can even jump into a visual EQ and adjust the audio that granularly. And all of that is available in the tracks tool here. All right, I'm going to check for any questions. I want to make sure I'm not going too fast for everybody. How does the transcript work if the language is Spanish? Great question. Ross is asking about language. So you can set the language for your studio in your studio settings. And let me actually go to another tab. Actually, I'll tell you what, I'll just go back here. So if you speak another language or you want your studio to be in another language, here back on the dashboard, I can go to the settings and then studio settings here. And this is where you can adjust the language. You can choose the studio language here. You can only choose one language. So if you're recording in Spanish, you want the transcript in Spanish, you want to edit in Spanish, change the language here, and that will change it for your future recordings. It doesn't change it for past recordings. Now, if you have multiple languages in a single recording, there's not a way to support that right now, but you can change the studio language there. There's also some settings about recording here. This was that sample rate. That was the terminology I was looking for. The audio sample rate, you have control over that. And depending on your plan, you can enable all the way up to 4K video. I'm going to look real quick on some other questions. Is there a way to put captions per person that were in the session instead of having everyone? Right now, we don't have animated captions like per person. You either apply animated captions or not, but we do have text overlays, and you can put just a few words on screen if you'd like. I'm going to show you the overlay tools in a second. Is it possible to go live in YouTube and have good quality of audio? Yes, I believe so. If you think this audio quality is good, I'm live also on YouTube right now. So you can go over and check out and see how that sounds and let me know how the quality is. Let's see. We're looking through some of the questions here. Nikki's asking about layouts. I'm going to get into the layouts in just a second. Mudra was asking about a document for helping a guest prepare. We actually have resources like that about preparing your guest and some PDFs about that. Let me see if I could find that. I'll try and find that for you in a little bit. Samoya was asking, smart layouts helps you focus on the speaker in a similar way if the main speaker is showing a presentation. Yes, if there's like a screen share or presentation, smart layouts is going to focus on those slides automatically. And I can go back into the project I was editing and show you what that looked like. Let me actually go to my home tab and you'll see that draft I was working on is right here under the recents. So that helps me get to it quickly. So let me show you what it looked like when I was sharing my screen and also show you some of the layouts. I uploaded a vertical video and Riverside made a horizontal. We don't have support for uploading vertical videos right now. I would actually record everything horizontal and then you can crop it and change the format after the fact. So that's what you ran into there. Tempest was asking about adjusting the guest's microphone input gain prior to recording. We don't have a way to do that through the Riverside Studio UI, so that is something you'll have to walk your guest through, adjusting their gain if it's a little too loud. It might be on their audio interface or in their computer questions. Ruhi was asking, when I select a different language, does it translate the end result? There's no translation when you set your studio to a different language. It will just transcribe the language you're speaking. We do have the AI translation feature, but that's to translate clips into other languages. The transcript of the full recording is still going to be in the studio language that you set. Doug said, sounds great here on YouTube. Thanks, Doug. That's great to hear. I love you see the little YouTube logo so you know where that comment was coming from. Someone was asking if you could, if I could raise the volume. Let me see. I'll try to raise my volume a little bit. Maybe I'll talk a little louder too. Adding B-roll and images over the video. Can you cover that? Yeah, let's do that right now, Sierra. So here I am back in the editor, and let's say I want to add some video overlays, maybe change the layout of my video. Let me show you a screen share real quick, just to be sure. So whenever you're sharing your screen or you have a presentation, it's going to show that screen share full screen right here. And so it's going, that's what the smart layouts did. But if you want to, you can actually roll your mouse over the video and there's actually more layout options. If you don't see this yet, it's going to be coming soon. And you can choose things like, well, put one speaker in the kind of like the small circle. And you can do that. That's called our scene feature. And you can choose then who to show in what box. So let me actually go over here and let me do a new layout. And so you can see a small there and maybe my co-host there. So here you can see I can change the layout, change who is like in a small circle, who's large, and then I can go into a screen like this with a screen share or slides and do the same thing. Choose who's in the corner. So I'll put myself here in the corner. And now I have that screen share look or slides and me in the circle at the bottom. And this is part of our new layout features. Again, this is coming out. If you don't see this already, it's because it's still launching, but we're going to have lots of new layouts coming soon. I really like this layout when I'm sharing a screen here, and you see me off to the side kind of in that vertical video. So those options are coming soon. That's our new layouts feature. But let's say you wanted to overlay some video. We're talking about iPad cases right here. We have lots of options. You'll find them here in the right-hand sidebar. We have music, where you can put background music across your recording, those animated captions. You can upload your own images or video to overlay. But I'm going to go straight to the videos tool. And here I can actually search royalty-free videos. So I'll search for iPad. And these are all video clips you can use in your recording. Stock video, you don't have to worry about copyright or anything like that. And I'll just click a video here. And this is now B-roll. I can adjust the volume of that overlaid video. I can expand it to be full screen. And now I have a video overlay right here in my recording. I'll go back and preview it. Here's me and Jason, my co-host. And now we have that video overlay coming up. And that's all here in the Riverside editor. I can add as many video overlays as I would want throughout the recording and even upload my own video to use as an overlay video. So for instance, if I go to my upload section here, you'll see images I've uploaded. So I can choose a static image here, expand it to make the frame, fill the frame, and now I have a static image overlay. And I've also uploaded some video clips. So if I go to my uploads and go to video, now I can choose one of the video clips that I've uploaded. Let's go with this one right here. And so now I have another video overlay, but this one I specifically uploaded. This is not a royalty-free one. This is a clip that I use. So if you have videos on your phone, you can upload them here in the Riverside editor and use them as B-roll and video overlays throughout your edits. Now you also have the image overlays. You can search for royalty-free images. So again, I'll just search for iPad. I can use these images or I can upload my own. So you can make really visually engaging content throughout your recording and throughout your edits. Now you can also add background music. We have some stock music here, royalty free. You can use these or upload your own, which I've uploaded my podcast intro music. So you'll see I just added that and that appears below the timeline. I can adjust the volume, fade in and fade out. And now I have my intro music, outro music, or add music wherever you would like. And we also have text overlays. And this is what I was talking about before. If you want to show text on screen, but not animated captions, you can do those here. Maybe you want a speaker label for a few moments. Well, it actually just pulled the speaker label automatically because Jason was talking. I can move it around the frame, change the text, font size, things like that. And for text overlays specifically, we actually have animations for in and out. So if you want to animate the text going in and out, you can do that. And I'll just preview this real quick. You see that his name faded in and then it's going to fade out as well. So you can add those nice text animations for your text overlays. And one other text feature, of course, our animated captions are right here. Lots of pre-made styles you can choose from. And then once you choose a style, you can then go in and actually edit it to look however you would like. So I'm going to change the size here. I can change the font, lots of font options here. Let's go with the Poppins. You can change whether you want background color, like a solid background color, or outline, shadow, and then you can even adjust the colors. So maybe you want blue behind or black behind the words, you can do that. And then change also the highlight color. Maybe I'll go with green here or mint. And then I can also choose how the active word is highlighted, whether it's boxed or scaled, reveal. You have all these options for animating your captions. And so there's a different style now with the active word being expanded basically every time it's being spoken. I'm going to go back to the boxed look and back to the background image style. And so you can see how easy it is to change those styles. And once you have a style you really like and matches your brand, you can click the three dots and you can add it to your brand or just favorite it. And in this way, those favorite caption styles, they show up right at the top of the captions menu so you can apply them easily in the future. And one other tool here in the editor, when you're wanting to make a vertical video or a clip, you can change the format really quickly by clicking up here, change it to a 9:16, and just like that, we've now reformatted your video. You and any other remote guests or screen shares formatted on top of each other. If you want to switch who's on in what side, you can literally just click and drag the video and it'll swap places. You can move the captions around and you still have access to the video overlays, text overlays, image overlays, and all of that. And finally, and I know I said that was the last feature, but just a couple other things when you're actually editing. You have the full transcript here, like I mentioned before. You can search the transcript. So if you want to search for a word, you can actually jump to all the points where that phrase or word is mentioned, both in the transcript and in the timeline. You get a little preview here too of context of what was being said, who spoke it. And you can also, a lot of tools here for moving your content around. For instance, you can cut, copy, paste, and duplicate the words, but that's also copying and pasting the video and audio content. So if you wanted to make like a little intro of engaging moments of your podcast or other recording, I can copy these moments, go to the very beginning of the transcript, and then when I paste that text, it's actually pasting the video and audio. So I didn't remove it from that other place, but now I get like a little trailer, share some fun clips right at the beginning. Great way to make sure people stay engaged right from the top. Plus, you can also do things like add chapter markers, which we have automated chapter markers, but you can add your own chapter markers. You can add all those overlays. And one of the cool features, you can add an empty section. So maybe you want to show like your podcast or brand logo just on a background image with some music, no one talking or anything. I can actually split some sections. I have a split section tool here. And once you do that, down here in the timeline, I can add an empty section. And that empty section is now just whatever background brand image that I had. Let me actually go back to a 16:9 format. And now I can add an image, I can add some text overlays, and then I can, kind of have like a title screen. So maybe I have this image here, I'll move it to the left, and I can add a text overlay. And maybe I'll call this iPad tips, and I want to move this over to the left. Now I kind of have a little title slide for my recording. I can choose how long I want that to be, and then it will go into the actual video after that. So now I threw just a lot of features at you using the editor and some of the features. So I'm going to jump into the chat real quick and see if I can answer any questions. What mic am I using right now, Ruhi? It is the Earthworks Ethos microphone. I've done videos on it on the YouTube channel. And yeah, I love the mic. Let's see. I know there's been some technical questions and support questions. Please reach out to the support using the little question mark icon in your dashboard. So for instance, if you have a question about a recording or something isn't right, when you're logged into your Riverside account, click this little question mark icon and go to the chat support. And then when you have an issue with a recording or a track, share the track ID or recording ID. So if I go to the recordings page, and if there was a problem with someone's track, you click the three dots and you copy the track ID, send that to that live chat support, and they'll be able to help you. And even if you think that something happened to the recording and it's unrecoverable, still reach out to support and they can help you. Can you edit in the desktop app? Brian, the desktop Mac app, which is great for recording, we don't have editing there just yet. Editing is just on the web or in our mobile apps, like for iPhone, Android, and iPad. Is there a way to say branding templates or session templates for different customers' types of styles? So every studio has just one brand that you can set as a template. But if you have lots of clients or business clients, maybe talk to our business team where you can have multiple productions and studios with different branding per production and per studio that can apply to your different clients. Can we have clear backgrounds? So we don't have clear backgrounds just yet, but Ruhi, let me know more of what you were kind of wanting there. If you're wanting, is it virtual green screen or something else? Appreciate behind the brief, some kind words. Thank you for that. Can you elaborate on giving login access to a remote editor? So Alex, if you have a team of people, again, you really want to talk to our business team about being able to have multiple accounts and giving editor access and things like that. But right now, if you have a project and you want to give access to the files, maybe it's like a social media manager so they can download the recording, on the projects page, you can go to the share button right here. And this is on the pro plan as well, not just business, but you can copy a link and share this project with someone, and they can download the project files where they can download the video and audio for individual tracks, also download any exported files you have, and you can also, this is a beta option, give an editor access via email here. So use the share button in a particular project page if you're wanting to give someone access. Are are we able to rewatch the recording of this tutorial? Yes, Judith, you're going to be able to rewatch this recording. It's going to be sent to you, but you can also go to our webinars page. So let me actually pull up that page, and you can actually see our past demos and be notified of any future webinars as well. I'm also going to take this time to go to our YouTube channel so I can get some video links for you as well. But if you go to riverside.fm/webinars, then you can actually see our past recordings. You can watch those webinars. And right now, this is the live demo we're in. And once the recording's up, you'll be able to watch it on this page as well. And I think we have, a Watch Our Webinars link. So if you're watching here on the Riverside platform, you can click that Watch Our Webinars link, and you'll be brought to the page I'm showing right now. Let me see. Watch the accumulate. Let's see. Keep the questions coming. And I want to show magic clips and a couple other things real quick. So magic clips is a powerful feature where you can automatically create vertical clips of your long form content. Riverside does it for you. And so I'm going to go to the create button here on my project, choose magic clips. Now, depending on your plan, you actually have access to magic clips controls, where I can choose how long I want these clips to be, what speaker to focus on for these magic clips. So maybe you want to focus on your interview guest, and even type in a topic that you want magic clips to focus on. But I'll generate a batch of magic clips here, and in just a few minutes, I'm now going to have vertical videos of my long form content, engaging moments, already formatted vertically with animated captions, ready to share. And so once those process, I'll show you what those look like. And while that's happening, I also want to show you the global search feature. There's now a search box at the top of your Riverside dashboard across all the different pages, and this search box is really powerful. This is going to search all the transcripts of all your recordings. It's going to search the titles for your projects and recordings. It's going to search the names of your edits, and here you can search for something. I'm going to search for OpenAI. And now I can look at all the recordings where OpenAI appeared in the transcript. And so you see, and I see the episode number, the project name here. And as you roll your mouse over the search results, you can even see at the bottom what studio and what project this recording is found in. You can see it down here as I'm rolling over. Plus, you can filter your global search results by magic clips. So just show me magic clips that I've created with OpenAI in the name, or maybe exports. Just show me videos I've exported with that search term as well. Global search, super powerful. If you have that funny moment or something you talked about many episodes or many recordings ago and you just can't remember when you recorded it, global search can help you find it. Like, let's see if we talked about Mission Impossible at all in any of our recordings. Well, it turns out we did. And right here you can see all the recordings where that was mentioned, and I can jump to it. So let's say this is a clip I want to pull. I can just click the search result, and I get sent straight to that project page, and I can immediately start editing and making that clip. Global search, awesome feature, and you should see it here at the top of your screen. Let's see now if those magic clips, they're still processing. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to go over to my edits pane because I have some magic clips that I was already editing over here. And another cool feature of our projects page is you can now preview these clips right on the page. So you don't have to jump into the editor just to watch the clip. You can preview it right here. And so this was a magic clip that was generated, a minute long, the perfect length, already formatted vertically, already has the animated captions. I can just straight export it right now, download it to share on social media, or if I want to do some tweaks, I can jump into the editor, and now the editor is showing me that minute-long clip with my animated captions, me and my co-host. I can add some video B-roll if I wanted to, and then I can export this magic clip, and this is the same export that process that you could do for full episodes and clips like this. Export up to 4K video, although for vertical clips I just do 1080. Remove the watermark, and someone asked about normalizing earlier. If your volume levels are vastly different between you and your guests, you can try to normalize, and Riverside will try to make the volume even across your entire edit. There's also the remove background feature here, but you can export the video, and you can also jump over to export an audio version. And this is what I do for my full episode, my full-length podcast episodes. I'll export the video once I'm done editing in 4K, and then I'll jump right over and export an MP3, which I can upload to my podcast host. And then all those exports are saved in that Exports tab here on the project page. So if I go to Exports, You see I have my full episode exports. I have other exports of like bonus content and then all my clips. And then I can re-download all of these exports whenever I'd like. If I need to upload it somewhere or I forgot to share it, now I have access to all those exports in one place. All right, I'm going to jump back into the chat. If you have any questions about recording, live streaming, things like that, now's the time. Leave those questions in the chat, and I'll try to answer as many as I can. Let's see. Is there a way to tweak my browser settings to improve performance? So one thing, and I should have showed this in the studio, if you find that once you start recording that the video is maybe stuttering or you and your guest, it's not a smooth conversation, here's what you should do. Because Riverside is still like bandwidth is still a constraint. You know what I mean? Riverside is trying to upload those high quality video and audio files while you record. So if you want to have better live call quality, whether it's because you're live streaming or you just want to have a smoother conversation with your remote guests, go to your studio settings. So I just click the gear icon here in my studio. I'll go to all settings, go to advanced, and here at the top you'll see hosts and producers can pause uploads. So toggle this on. Once you've toggled that on and you start a recording here in your studio, now you can actually tell Riverside, pause the upload of those high quality video and audio files. And if this way it'll save on bandwidth and make the live call a better quality. And the way you do that is go to the People tab here on the right, expand each person, and you do have to do this for each guest and each person. But now you'll see the pause upload is there. And so I pause that upload. That means the upload is going to pause. You'll see it here. The percentage is going to start dropping because there's more that has been recorded that's not been uploaded yet. But pausing that upload is going to help your live call quality, smoother conversation, less stutters and freezes. And if you're live streaming, I would do this by default anytime you're live streaming to YouTube, unless you have just a lot of bandwidth and you know your computer can handle it. But pausing that upload is going to help. And you don't have to remember to resume the upload. Once you hit stop recording, Riverside's immediately going to go into uploading those video and audio files for everyone, and you can see it's done. So don't have to worry about unpausing those uploads later, but do pause them during the live call and live streaming. Let's see. I'm looking at the Q&A, and I know Ulufemi is asking about continuity camera and using your iPhone in 4K. Our mobile cam feature is not out. We were working on it for a long time. I don't have any updates on that. So I totally understand if you're wanting to use 4K video and you want to use your mobile device. I will say if you use the Riverside app on your iPhone, you can get 4K video that way. And you can plug USB microphones directly into your iPhone or iPad, and those USB mics will work just fine, and you get that high quality audio. I understand you don't get like the screen share features and transcript and all of that, but that is an option. Can you elaborate about having a remote producer assisting with live recordings? So Alex, this is more on the business platform side where you can actually have producers that are not recorded, but have access to things like adjusting those pause uploads, hiding guests until they're ready to come on stage and speak, doing screen shares and even presentation files and slides from behind the scenes. So that's the role of the producer. And again, that is a role that you get on the business platform. Or if someone logs in with your Riverside account, you can choose to join a studio as a producer. So I'll show you real quick. If I go into record, and if I just join right now, I join as a host, and you actually see that label right here. But you can choose to join as a producer, and that means you will not be recorded, and that's important. Keep in mind the producer is not recorded, but the producer can do things like share screen, manage the volume levels for your different guests, share screen, present slides, and things like that. And so if someone logged in with your account from another computer, they can join as a producer, and they would have those kind of behind the scenes permissions, and they could help you with your recording. Let's see. So Jason was asking about translation here, and we do have AI translation that works after the fact. So if you go in and let's say we go to my minute-long recording here, under the Create button, there is now an AI Translate option. Now, there is a maximum time limit, and there's a credit-based system depending on how much you want to translate. But you can translate to another language like French and translate this video. You can include lip sync, and Riverside will use AI to change your lip syncing to match the foreign language. And then you can translate that clip into another language after you're done recording. That's AI translation. Again, that's not for like full length, hour-long recordings, but if you want to translate some short clips, you can do that with Riverside AI translation. Scott is asking a great question here. When exporting to platforms that are not YouTube, should you export audio only? Scott, I actually have over an hour-long video coming very soon that walks through everything about video podcasting, including where to publish. The short answer is I publish my video to my YouTube channel, and I also upload it to Spotify for creators. And I would highly recommend doing that because I have found that it really increases the discovery and exposure, helping you find a new audience. And video content is really highlighted in the Spotify app. I actually just did a video about the changes to the Spotify app that really put podcasting front and center. So I would recommend downloading that video and uploading it to Spotify for creators as well as YouTube. Now, I'm going to try and share some videos here in the chat real quick. I'm going to put this Spotify video first, and let's see if I do this. Spotify update. The link I just put in the chat is my video specifically on Spotify, the changes, and why you should upload video there. And so that would be my recommendation. And then the audio only is for your podcast host, RSS feeds, things like that. Antonio is asking, how do you set up live streaming on TikTok? This is a challenge because TikTok, you need the TikTok Studio application, and that is only available on Windows PCs. So if you want to live stream to TikTok through Riverside, you can do it, but it requires a Windows PC having the TikTok Studio app installed, and from there you can get the information to stream via RTMP. And I know that's come up several times while I've been recording, so I'm going to put another link in the chat where I have an entire video about streaming to Instagram via RTMP, and I'll put that here so you can learn more about that. What is recommended internet speed for 1080 and 4K? If you have 20 to 50 megabits down and up, you should be good for 1080. If you're doing 4K, I would use that pause uploads feature. It might mean you have to wait around longer for everything to upload after the fact, but it's going to help the smoothness of the call. If you can get up to 100 megabits down and up, that should be more than enough for any resolution you're trying to do. For the intro and outro music, are there any tunes at lower volumes? Rui, you can adjust the volume of those background music tracks in the editor. That's what I was trying to show before. Let me go back into the editor real quick, and I'll show you what I meant. But you can adjust the volume of those music clips in the background. So right here, you'll see I had the music clip right here. And once you overlay audio like this, just click the three dots, and then you can adjust the volume. And that you can adjust the volume of any music track, both in the library here in the Riverside editor and music that you upload from your computer. Butterfly asking about Android users. Riverside has an Android app as well. You can record, you can edit, you can do all of that on Android devices. Is there a way to sort or nest project files into a folder or group instead of just a long list? We don't have another organization hierarchy outside of projects. So you basically have projects, and within that project, you can have multiple recordings and edits, but we don't have right now. But I can share that as a feature request to the team. And Nikki was saying what Tim said. So, okay, we hear you. More organization options. Can we play background music while, I assume, live streaming in the app? If you upload audio to that media board that I showed you in the Riverside studio, you can play that audio in the background, and it will go to your live stream. So, yes, you can do that. So I have the Spotify update there. Let's see. Bucolo was asking about recommending Substack to send videos to YouTube and Spotify. I'm not familiar with Substack's distribution there, but I like uploading videos directly to YouTube, and Spotify allows you to upload videos to your podcast episodes no matter where you host. So I host my podcast on Transistor. Those episodes via RSS go to my Spotify for podcaster or creators dashboard, and then I upload the video directly there. Let's see, any other questions? I'm looking here at the bottom. Does Riverside have a compressor in the audio editor? Well, when you export it, you can export it via MP3 or WAV. And so exporting via MP3 automatically is compressing or making that file smaller. Um, So Yan was asking about a live session with 3 people. It wasn't the best quality. So Yan, if you did not do the pause uploads, I would really recommend trying that. Pause the uploads for everyone, not just you. Pause all your remote guest uploads, and the quality should be better there. Do I have a, let's see, audio compressor? Oh, we don't have audio compressor plugins, Tempest. No, we don't have that just yet. We just added the EQ, but if you want compressor, we hear that too. We can share that with the team as a feature request. All right, any other last minute questions? I see questions about like color combinations. I'm not sure what that is. And Sierra was asking, do you have show the engage audience quicker, getting audience to stick around longer? Sierra, that's a great question about how do you engage with the audience and get them to stick around. Again, I'm going to recommend going to the Riverside YouTube channel. You're going to see a lot more of me there. But if you search for hook, let me see, or maybe it's intro. I have a video here about how to create engaging intros. Here's make a killer intro. That's going to help talk about engagement metrics. I think I did one that's like a better intro in 7 minutes. Do I have that? I can't find it real quick. So here's what you need to do. Just go to our YouTube channel. Go ahead and watch every video. No, I'm just kidding. Don't you don't have to watch every video, but lots of videos on things like hooks, keeping your audience engaged, and my personal setup. Oh, here it is. Hook your viewers. This is the video I was thinking of, and so I'm actually going to share that in the chat. So if you want to watch that video there, and I'm also going to once again put the lower third for the Riverside YouTube channel. Go ahead and subscribe over there. Lots of videos answering a lot of the questions you're asking here. What guest do you... so Lorianne was asking about pausing the uploads. You have to pause uploads after you start recording. That option is not available until you hit record. So Lorianne, hit record and then pause the uploads. Let's see. Pausing is disabled in one of the recordings. I'm not sure what that was, Rui. Any other last minute questions? I'm also going to plug our community. So if you want to get more involved with other Riverside users and other creators, the Riverside community is the place to go. And this is a Facebook page. There's tens of thousands of people join there. I think, I'm not sure it's 10,000, 20,000, but it's a really active community. Lots of great contributions from creators. And also if you have questions, ask them there and you'll find great answers. So encourage you, join our Facebook community. And once again, if you want to see our past webinar recordings and watch the recording of this webinar, you can visit our webinars page, riverside.fm/webinars, or you can click the link here on the video as well. Just signed up for the community workshop on July 14th about increasing subscribers. That's awesome, Jason. Glad you signed up. We have some really great webinars coming soon, and I know we're planning some for July and August that are going to be pretty awesome. So, yeah, recommend. Tune in for the webinars. And appreciate kind words, Tim. And that's our time, man. That hour went by fast. I thought we tried to go through most of it. But if you have questions, I'll see you over on YouTube. You can leave comments on the YouTube videos, and I answer those comments personally. And again, we have lots of resources available there on the webinars page and in our community. So thanks, everybody, for tuning in for this month's demo. I'll love to see you next month or for some of our webinars in between. And we really appreciate it. Thanks. Very kind words, all the thank yous. I really appreciate everyone tuning in. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.